How is learning different from knowing? This will give you an idea of what learning strategy is all about.
Learning is different from
knowing.
Learning happens when you don't know and you want to.
learning is a self-driven process.
Okay, but how is it different from knowing? Knowing can also be self-driven. He goes and reads lots of books, so he ends up knowing a lot of things, self-driven. Why is it not learning for him yet?
Learning has an element of memory to it.
Knowing has an element of memory to it.
How? Learning how?
You can recall that, yes, I read this somewhere.
I know this.
Applying, implementation.
Applying. Applying.
How?
Can you take what you know?
I may not have applied it.
Can you take what you know and apply it in a given context? That's when it is called as learning. Otherwise, you know, you can't apply.
Learn.
No.
Let's say you read a book. I read a book.
No, when you use the word know, I know about it. I've learned it.
So I learned it means I have
Applied it.
applied it, or I know how to apply it at least.
Yeah, I know how to apply, correct.
Even if I have not applied, but I know how to apply
Does
it.
learning implies application? I don't know.
Then otherwise, how is it different from knowing? Look, we are getting into semantics. Let's face it, it is nitty-gritty differences between words.
Yeah.
And these are not differences that are existing in the English dictionary.
Okay.
Yeah. So we won't go by the
I
dictionary.
learned how to cook. Which is, in this case, learning does apply.
Applications.
Okay.
You can know a lot of things, but no learning. Can you also have learning without knowing?
You're doing something the first time.
Yeah,
So you don't know when you're learning.
yeah, you're learning.
So just the way I made dal for the first time, I did not know.
Bana diya. You learned it. Without knowing, you learned it. NLP as a skill, where do you think it falls? In knowing to learn or learning without knowing?
Learning without knowing.
Learning without knowing.
Learning without
NLP as a skill is learning without knowing.
I don't know.
What is the biggest bottleneck to that learning?
Knowing.
Of course, knowing, and more specifically,
Applied.
auditory digital.
Self-talk.
Self-talk, because that is logic, he has to use logic. Whereas this NLP learning has got nothing to do with logic, it's just apply. Right, so you have to, yes, in most cases, you would take something that you know. Dal, you know that a thing called dal exists. Right? You don't know how to cook the dal, but you know that this is a thing called dal and it can be cooked. Right? And then you go through a process which creates the outcome for you, the cooked. So you take something that you know, apply it, which results in a outcome of the application. Learning, will you always get the outcome that you desired? Not necessary. The learning process just says that you're going to apply and there will be an outcome to that application. It may not be what you anticipated, but it will be an outcome. That's why inherently, structurally, the learning process involves making mistakes. Structurally. Rather, it involves ending up with results that now you had not anticipated. So if anybody says that I learned these things so well I can do it without any mistakes, if you've not made mistakes, you haven't learned. You know it for sure. I bet you. You know a lot about it. But that's not learning.